How to be happy. When life gets tough, life will knock you down, loss, failure, rejection, you name it. But here's what most people won't tell you. Happiness isn't about dodging those punches. It's about learning how to take the hit and still find your footing. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology, neuroscience, and real-world strategies to help you do exactly that. This isn't fluffy self-help. This is a tactical playbook for building unshakable joy, even when life feels like it's crumbling. Stick around. I'm breaking down 6 proven frameworks, sharing raw stories of resilience, and giving you step-by-step tools to start today. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Rewire your brain for resilience. Your brain is not hardwired, it's a moldable machine. You can train it to default to hope, not fear. The neuroscience of suffering. Chronic stress shrinks the prefrontal cortex, your rational decision maker, and enlarges the amygdala, your panic button. A 2017 Harvard study found that people who catastrophize their pain develop literal physical changes in their brains that trap them in anxiety loops. The 3-to-1 positivity ratio. Psychologist Barbara Fredrickson's research shows you need 3 positive thoughts to counter 1 negative one to stay emotionally balanced. For example, negative thought: I'll never get out of this debt. Counters: but I've solved money problems before. Today I'm grateful for my health. What's one tiny step I can take right now? Maybe call a financial advisor. Neurojournaling. Every morning, write down one challenge you're facing, then reframe it with, this is teaching me ... and I can use this to help others by... Your brain is like a garden. Weed the negativity, plant seeds of hope, and watch resilience grow. Chapter 2. Radical acceptance. The surprising power of surrender. Resisting pain is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It'll keep popping up until you let it float. The science of post-traumatic growth. Studies show that people who practice radical acceptance after trauma recover faster and find deeper purpose. Example: veterans who joined advocacy groups reported 40% higher life satisfaction than those who isolated. Case study. Sarah's story. Sarah was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer at 32. For months, she raged against the why me until she shifted to what now. She started a podcast for young cancer patients, which became a global community. Her key quote: accepting the diagnosis didn't mean giving up. It meant redirecting my fight. The RAIN technique, step by step. Recognize, I'm feeling crushed by this layoff. Allow, it's okay to feel angry and scared. Investigate, where do I feel this in my body? What's the root fear? Losing stability? Feeling inadequate? Nurture, place a hand on your heart and say, this is hard, but I'm here for you. Action. Step. Practice RAIN for 5 minutes daily. Start with minor stressors, e.g. traffic, to build the muscle. Pain is inevitable, but staying stuck in the why is a choice. Surrender isn't weakness, it's strategy. Chapter 3. Micro-joys, the secret weapon. Nobody talks about happiness isn't a grand treasure hunt. It's a scavenger hunt for tiny everyday wins. The 5-second rule: when overwhelmed, pause and name one sensory joy within 5 seconds. I hear my dog snoring. I taste dark chocolate. I feel this cozy blanket. Why it works: it forces your brain to exit survival mode and engage the present. Anchoring rituals. Morning gratitude. Walk 10 minutes outside. Mentally note 3 things you're grateful for, e.g. the smell of rain, my strong legs, coffee brewing. Evening victory log. Write 3 tiny wins, e.g. I unplugged from my phone for 30 minutes, I made my bed, I apologized to my partner. The dopamine effect. A 2021 UC Berkeley study found that participants who practiced daily micro-joys had 23% lower cortisol levels and 17% higher dopamine spikes than the control group. Joy isn't a luxury, it's a discipline. Train your brain to spot the sparks in the dark. Perhaps most importantly, discipline gives you control over your thoughts and emotions. When you practice discipline, you're training yourself to act based on your values and goals rather than momentary feelings. This mental mastery is perhaps the greatest benefit of all. It gives you a sense of agency over your life. Real-life examples. Let's look at some powerful examples of discipline in action. Michael Jordan is often celebrated for his natural talent, but his legendary discipline is what truly set him apart. He was famously the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. During the off-season, when many players relaxed, he followed a rigorous training schedule that prepared him for the demands of the season. J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book as a single mother on welfare. She didn't have ideal circumstances. Far from it. What she had was the discipline to write consistently, often in cafes while her baby slept beside her. She created specific routines and stuck to them, regardless of her circumstances or how she felt on any given day. History is filled with examples of ordinary people achieving extraordinary results through discipline. The Great Wall of China, the pyramids of Egypt, the cathedrals of Europe, none of these were built through bursts of motivation. They required consistent, disciplined effort over extended periods of time. Now, I'd like to share a less famous but equally powerful example. My friend Sarah wanted to become fluent in Spanish for years, but could never find the time. Finally, she committed to just 15 minutes of practice every morning before work. No exceptions. 3 years later, she's conversational in Spanish and planning a solo trip through South America. Her secret wasn't finding more time. It was being disciplined with the time she had. Practical strategies to build discipline. So how do we build discipline in our own lives? Let me share some practical strategies that have worked for me and countless others. First, start ridiculously small. Many of us fail at building discipline because we try to change too much too quickly. Instead of committing to an hour at the gym, commit to putting on your gym clothes. Instead of promising to write 10 pages, commit to writing 1 paragraph. These tiny commitments build the habit of showing up, which is the foundation of discipline. Second, track your streaks. There's something powerful about seeing a visual representation of your consistency. Each day you follow through builds momentum. Jerry Seinfeld famously used this "don't break the chain" method to write jokes every day, using a big calendar and marking each day he wrote with a red X. Third, use implementation intentions, which are specific plans that follow the format, when X happens, I will do Y. For example, when I finish dinner, I will immediately do the dishes. Research shows that people who use implementation intentions are significantly more likely to follow through on their commitments. Fourth, design your environment for success. Discipline is much easier when your surroundings support rather than undermine your goals. Want to use your phone less? Keep it in another room. Want to eat healthier? Keep nutritious foods visible and accessible. Your environment often determines your behavior more than willpower. Fifth, leverage social accountability. Tell someone about your commitment, work alongside others with similar goals, or hire a coach. When others are involved, we're much more likely to follow through. Sixth, create immediate rewards and consequences. Our brains are wired to respond to immediate outcomes, but many disciplined behaviors only pay off in the long run. Bridge this gap by creating artificial rewards for following through and consequences for not doing so. And finally, practice self-compassion. Building discipline isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. When you inevitably slip up, treat yourself with the same kindness you would show a good friend. Then get back on track without the unnecessary baggage of guilt or shame. Overcoming obstacles to discipline. Now let's talk about the obstacles you'll face on your discipline journey, because they will come up. I guarantee it. The first obstacle is the motivation cliff. When you start something new, you're filled with excitement and energy, but inevitably, that initial enthusiasm fades. This is where most people quit, but it's precisely where discipline becomes essential. Prepare for this cliff by establishing routines and systems that don't rely on feeling motivated. The second obstacle is decision fatigue. Each decision we make throughout the day depletes our mental energy, making disciplined choices harder as the day progresses. Combat this by making important decisions in advance. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Meal prep on Sundays. Automate financial decisions. The less you have to decide in the moment, the more likely you'll stick to your plan. The third obstacle is social pressure. Your environment includes the people around you, and they can either support or undermine your discipline. Be intentional about who you spend time with. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Surround yourself with disciplined individuals, and you'll naturally become more disciplined yourself. The fourth obstacle is all-or-nothing thinking. You miss one workout and decide to abandon your fitness goals entirely. You eat one unhealthy meal and throw away your nutrition plan. This perfectionism is the enemy of true discipline. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent over time. Remember that building discipline is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up, when excuses seem perfectly reasonable, when no one would blame you for taking it easy. These are precisely the moments when discipline matters most. As Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Now I want to leave you with a challenge. One that will help you start building discipline today. I call it the 7-day discipline seed. Choose one small action that aligns with your goals. It should be so small that it seems almost trivial. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, writing one sentence in your journal, or doing 5 push-ups. Commit to doing this one tiny action every day for the next 7 days, no matter what. Put a reminder in your phone, tell a friend about your commitment, or leave yourself a physical cue where you'll see it. The action itself isn't as important as the act of following through consistently. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content on personal development and achievement. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video on building powerful morning routines. Conclusion. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Discipline isn't about limitation. It's about liberation. It's not about restriction. It's about expansion. When you master discipline, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you gain the freedom to create the life you truly want. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, having practiced discipline in the areas that matter most to you. Picture the compound effect of all those small, consistent actions. Think about the person you'll have become, not overnight, but day by day, choice by choice. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, in a world of instant gratification and constant distraction, discipline is your superpower. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and watch as it transforms your life in ways you never thought possible. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep moving forward.